the video of note making, and I hope you must have understood them. And today again I am moving towards your book Snapshot, chapter 3, Ranga's marriage. It's a long story but interesting and simple one. Listen to the video carefully. Ranga's marriage. This story revolves around Ranga, the village accountant's son, who had just come back from Bangalore. At the news of his arrival, the villagers gathered at his home to analyze if he had changed or not, or what is his perception about marriage. Everyone was so excited because during those days, not everyone used to get a chance to go to cities for studies. The narrator expects the readers to be questioning the simplicity of the title Ranga's marriage. Readers will ask why the author has entitled the story as Ranga's marriage. He feels readers might be thinking of some fancy titles like Rangnathan Vivah or Rangnathan Vijaya or Girja Kalyan, but then it would not be related to R. Ranga, a boy of the village. They live in a village and the name of the village is Hosa Ali. It is in Mysore. Not many people know about this village because there is no trace of this name in any book of geography, and the people in England who made the map, they also did not know anything. Our own people, when they prepared their map, they did not pay any attention towards this name. That's why there is no trace of this village anywhere on the map. Then the narrator feels apologetic for getting carried away and deviating from the topic. He said that he had come there to narrate the story of Ranga's marriage and he strayed from the topic, distracted from the topic. It always happens whenever there is discussion about his village Hosahalli. He says that this village is as important to Mysore, this village is as important to our this Mysore as Mysore is important to India. As Kariga Dabu, a type of festival meal, is important for any festival. Thus, he cannot highlight its importance anymore. Not only him, there is a doctor in the village who always thinks the same about their village. Then he tells the readers about their special mango trees in the village whose mangoes are famous for their special quality. He once took the fruit at home, they made chutney and everybody was suffering from a bad cough after eating it. He had to go to the doctor and he had to use a syrup also to cure his cough. The narrator asks the readers to take a bite and assures that the soreness of the mango will be felt by them till the top of their head. Not only the mangoes, everything in and around this village is very important, very remarkable. The creeper, the vine growing in the pond, and its flowers are also special. One can even serve an afternoon meal on its leaves, and if you go to the pond for taking bath in the morning, bring 1 or 2 leaves and you need not worry how to serve the lunch. These 2 leaves will be more than enough. The narrator then brings about a comparison as to how things were different 10 years ago, when not many people in the village knew or spoke English. Neither did people send their children to big cities like Bangalore to study. Back then, only the village accountant had the courage to send his son to Bangalore. According to the author, those times were simple ones. He justifies his claim by telling an incident where he was at Rama Rao's, it is the name of his friend. He went to his house and they had just bought a bundle of firewood from an old lady. Ram told her to come next day as he did not have any change at that moment. The poor lady did not know the meaning of change and she went away whispering to herself. Neither did the narrator know its meaning. It was only when he went to Ranga's house, then he asked him the meaning of change, means coins. However, 10 years ago, English was not commonly spoken in the village, and when the villagers came to know that Ranga, the accountant's son, was coming home from Bangalore, everyone got excited and rushed to his home to have a glance, to have a look at the boy. Fascinated by all the crowd, attracted by all the crowd, the narrator too went there and asked people why they were gathered, because he could not see anything entertaining happening there like a monkey performance. A boy without brains shouted loud enough for everyone to hear, and in a rude way he said why he had come there if he did not know what was happening. And the narrator called him just an immature boy. All the people were waiting outside Ranga's house, and because the place would look like a black hole of Calcutta, black hole, a house in a sewage pipe, that is called black hole. If all the people had entered his house, it could become like a black hole. By saying this, the narrator means that there were so many people in the house, and they could not be accommodated in that small house. Thus, Ranga came outside with a smile on his face. Everyone was so surprised to see that Ranga had not changed a bit as he left 6 months ago. An old lady who was standing near Ranga, she put her hands through the chest to check the sacred thread, and he was wearing it, and she confirmed that nothing was changed, no change was there in Ranga. And when people came to know that there is no change, he is all the same, all dispersed from the place. The narrator waited till the crowd cleared and asked him about his well-being. Ranga noticed him and replied with full respect in a traditional way. Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment. Ranga was very well behaved as to who could benefit him. He knew very well who is beneficial to him. He was one of those who could analyze something's worth rightfully in a right way. How he greeted the narrator, he bent low, touched his feet, and sought his blessings. It was not like the present day namaskar, as the children do not bend, and he bent properly in a traditional way. The narrator blessed him that he might get married soon, and then he left from the place. That afternoon, Ranga visited the author with a few oranges, taking a few fruit in his hands, which the narrator thought was quite thoughtful of him. He was a very considerate boy, well-mannered boy. Thinking of him, how nice Ranga is, the author thought it would be a good action, good deed to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. They chatted for a while, and the narrator asked Ranga about his views on getting married. Ranga expresses that he does not intend on marrying. He did not wish to get married now because he wished to find a right girl. He gave an example also of an officer who got married at the age of 30 to a woman who was 25 years old. Now, since these are both adults, they would understand each other's action and behavior, whereas suppose the narrator finds a girl who is still very young, she could misunderstand the words or his actions because she is not mature enough. He even mentions the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyant from Mahabharata, and then he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young in that case. Then Kalidas' place could never be existed. That is why he wishes on staying a bachelor till he finds the right girl. Here, the narrator introduces us to a new character in the story, and her name is Ratna. She is 11 years old, and she is Ramarau's niece, Ramarao, friend of the narrator. She had lost her parents, so her uncle brought her from the big city to his own home to live with them. She had a great voice and could play harmonium and veena. The narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a good pair, a great pair. Ratna was quite familiar with the narrator as he visited Rama's place frequently, again and again. the narrator thought of a plan to introduce Ratna to Ranga. He asked Rama to send Ratna to his place as he wanted to send some buttermilk lassi. Sorry. for them, and she came all dressed up. The narrator insisted upon her to sing a song while he sent someone to call Ranga. Just as she was singing, Ranga arrived. I was telling you, when she was singing the song, Ranga arrived at narrator's house, and as he stood at the door, the light was blocked, and when the light was blocked, Ratna came to know some stranger was standing there at the door. She left the harmonium, got up from the place and rushed inside. The narrator compares Ranga's situation to the disappointment of dropping a best quality mango on the floor just before having a first bite of it. It was as if something great had been stolen before one could full enjoy it. Ranga asked the narrator why he called for him. Ratna was shy and thus she looked downwards, whereas Ranga was looking at her constantly, again and again. There was an awkward silence in the room. After things went a bit awkward, you can say, Ranga said that he feels that his coming had stopped the song, so he must leave. But he was just speaking these words. He was not getting up. He was not leaving the place, and thus the narrator makes fun of him. After a few minutes of this awkward silence, Ranga finally asked the narrator about the girl. Now the narrator compares the situation with the infamous story of a he-goat and the lion, where he is the he-goat and Ranga is the lion. The narrator replies very cleverly and intends on seeing Ranga's interest in knowing about Ratna. Thus he says that Ratna is a married girl, and he said that why he was asking. Narrator is already married, and Ranga did not want to get married. And hearing narrator's reply, Ranga got a little bit excited first, although he did not show it, but was quite clear. Full of hope, he asked if she isn't married yet, to which the narrator replies, no, probably 1 year ago she had got married. Ranga was disappointed and disheartened also. It was clearly all over his face. He went away quoting some work, said that he had some work, and our narrator have staged certain liking for this pair, Ranga and Ratna. He had selected Ratna for Ranga. Then he went to the village Shastri and the village priest and told him everything that had to be said and done, and he said that he would come to see him along with Ranga in the afternoon. And Ranga, when he met this narrator again, and he insists again and again that yes, he was normal, but narrator very wittingly makes a remark that he went through the same feelings when he was seeing girls for himself, and immediately mentions that it could not be the reason for Ranga because he did not want to get married. Further, he suggested that they should see the Shastri, and he would tell them about his stars like Guru or Shani, etc., whether they are in his favor or not. Ranga went with him. On seeing Shastri ji, he implied not having seen the narrator in a long while, which is obviously not true, as they had met before the same morning. Here the narrator reveals his pet name, Shama, as they called him in the village. The narrator felt that Shastri was lying because they saw each other that morning, and thus he immediately responded. However, Shastri completed his sentence, otherwise everything could be revealed before Ranga. The narrator asks the Shastri to take out all his books or tools to help solve a problem and to know whatever is going on in Ranga's mind, and he spoke with full authority, and Shastri took out his essential things and told them that this is all ancient science, but he would not tell it at that moment, he would tell some other time. Shastri moved his lips while counting quickly, asked Ranga about his star, which he did not know. Shastri implied that it is manageable, and he appeared to do some more calculations. After a moment, he indicated that that Ranga has a girl on her mind. Even after trying his best, the narrator could not control his laughter. He then asked the details of the girl from Shastri. Shastri thought for a while and replied that the girl's name is after the name of something that is found in the ocean. And it might be Kamla, it might be Pachi or Moss or Pearl. Shastri said it could be Ratna also. And the name of Ramarao's niece was Ratna, and Shastri's predictions were right. Ranga was surprised to know and some little bit happy also in his mind, because he also liked the girl. But he immediately became disappointed when he recalled that the girl was married. Shastri said that he did not know all that. There might be another suitable girl of the same name. To make it look real, Shastri interfered in their name, guessing some game, or both of them left the place, and when they were crossing the house of Rama Rao, Shama went inside to see Ratna for a minute and come back. When the narrator comes back, he tells Ranga that Ratna is not married, some wrong information he had got. The narrator expresses his amazement, his surprise at the reality, at the fact, and he has been thinking about Ratna and asks him to swear upon the truth. You just swear first and tell me what is the truth. To his surprise, Ranga told him the truth, that whatever Shastri said, it is true. His belief in all Shastras had become stronger now. Shama went to see Shastri and everything that evening when he was near the well, and said that he spoke, he repeated everything, whatever was taught to him. But it made the Shastri angry. He said no, he just gave him the hints, and rest of the things he had found out from his Shastra only. Now the narrator takes up a few years forward. Story is extending after few years now. They both had got married, Ranga and Ratna, and they had 3-year-old son now. Ratna was 8 months pregnant, and Ranga's sister had come over to help them. It was Shama's birthday today, and yes, the couple named their son after the narrator, as it is a common foreign tradition to name your child after someone you truly love, truly like. When the narrator went there for dinner, Shama came running to him, only to show his love by holding his legs. The narrator kissed him and gave him a ring. The narrator writes an ending note to all the readers, hoping that they were not bored and they did like the story. Student, it is a long story. Listen to this video twice, and each and every word I have taught you, go through the story. It is your homework. Thank you.